Oh, sorry. Don't mind me. I'm just doing my usual exercises with my 3DS. You know, it's not for the exercise. It's actually for the play coins. Speaking of, only 3 play coins. All right.
The Nintendo 3DS. Wait, what does this do again? Oh, Nintendo had been thriving in the handheld market with the large success of the Nintendo DS, and they would continue its support with the release of the DSi family. However, it was finally the moment for Nintendo to move into greater things with the next big handheld, the Nintendo 3DS. The 3DS would be released in early 2011, but there was just one problem. What even is this launch? I mean, come on, I didn't pay $250 to play Nintendogs. Oh wait, plus cats? Yeah, despite the release of the 3DS, people were forced to wait for the arrivals of the bigger first-party titles like Super Mario 3D Land and Mario Kart 7. So what exactly was there to do in the meantime? You guessed it, check out system applications. You still had your usual photo and music application, AR cards, which I swear I lost almost immediately, but there was one thing that did stick out from all the others, the Streetpass Mii Plaza. Nintendo's way of saying, you want friends? Here's 3,000 of them. Streetpass Mii Plaza was an application that would utilize the brand new Streetpass feature that was added to the 3DS. Streetpass was basically a way to communicate with nearby 3DS users without the need of opening your 3DS or actually meeting the person. You know, just ignore, walk past them, and oh my god, I have a friend. So the way the Mii Plaza would utilize this feature is by having people you pass by join your plaza, and you would be able to see their profiles and sometimes even see what games they've been playing. And then comes the actual main attraction, the Mii Plaza games. Yes, just like the Nintendo Switch, Mii Plaza has games. It originally started with just 2 games that you could play, but since then they've added many more. The way these games usually work is that you will need to have Street Pass with people so that their Miis can tag along with you and help you in each game. However, if you're unable to Street Pass, you could use play coins that you get from walking with your 3DS. So let's look at each game, and trust me, you may be surprised with some hidden gems here. So let's start off strong with... Oh great, now I sound like a phony. Puzzle Swap is a game all about getting pieces to a puzzle in order to unlock some 3D art. That's it. The way you get these puzzles would be through Street Pass, where if the person you have has some puzzle pieces that you don't have, they would just give them to you. Otherwise, if you're unable to Street Pass with anyone, you could use play coins, but the only thing is, you will get one random piece, and it's also possible that they will give you a piece you already have. Now, once you complete the panel, you do get some really nice 3D animated pictures. They had pictures for all kinds of games and franchises, and they were enjoyable to look at. But trying to complete these puzzles wasn't easy. If you're going to complete a puzzle with only play coins, oh, you're gonna be at it for a very long time. Now, if you do Street Pass and get puzzle pieces from other people, it'll probably be a little faster since they could give you many pieces at once, but it's still gonna take a while. Overall, it's a nice feature. I mean, the art is pretty damn good, but it's probably all on YouTube now. Oh yeah! Find Me is an RPG all about our Mii character who is a king, getting captured, and we must call on the knights to save our Mii and defeat the boss. The knights are composed of Miis that you Street Pass with, however, if you use play coins, you've got an army of dogs heading your way. The combat itself is quite simple. You can choose to either attack, use magic, or head to the back of the line to move up the next character. Each character, whether it's a Mii or a dog, has its own level, and the higher its level, the more damage you can do to the enemy. However, another important aspect, believe it or not, is the character's shirt color. The color of the shirt not only determines what kind of magic you will have, but it also can be important with dealing damage, as some enemies may have a shield of some sort that requires a specific shirt color in order to deal with it. Other than that, you just let your character attack, and after they use magic or swing their sword to attack, they then leave the party. From there on, you just go room to room defeating each enemy until you reach the final area, save our Mii character, and credits play. Yeah, this game is a lot shorter than I remember, but hey, it was a pretty decent experience. There's more? Alright, Find Me too! Didn't know this existed for the longest time. This would later be introduced in a free update for those who beat Find Me. The premise remains the same, but this time we have a whole family.
Oh my goodness, what is that?
Going to help the peasants in the field? Is that a threat? Anyway, like I said, the plot remains about the same, only this time the whole damn family gets kidnapped.
Honestly, they can keep that one.
It's up to the knights to save the day again. However, it won't be as easy as before, as they've added a lot more enemies and a lot more routes to take. Now, it does make the game more interesting, but other than that, it's basically the same game as before in terms of combat, but trust me, it won't be taking 30 minutes to complete. Maybe 31. Overall, the Find Me series isn't that bad. It's obviously not one of the most creative plots out there, but it's at least enjoyable to the point where it can be challenging to complete. However, it can also be considered annoying to complete, especially if you're dependent on using play coins. I hated the fact that you would need one specific color for a character to defeat certain enemies. Like, I get it, it's to make it more challenging, but it's just so annoying that the game gives you every other color but the one you need. Other than that, pretty good. And that would be the conclusion of the Mii Plaza games available at the time. And to be honest, I had a good time playing these games. Now, are they perfect replacements for actual 3DS games? Of course not, why would you ask this? However, Nintendo wasn't about to let the Mii Plaza die out. Oh no, they were ready to bring in the DLC. The first DLC pack consisted of 4 new games, and these games could be purchased individually or as a discounted bundle. This was pretty exciting, mainly because I was actually intrigued by the games that they revealed, and I have to say, all the games were actually pretty good. Beginning with Flower Town, this was the more low-key game of the bunch, but I still found it pretty nice. This game is all about wanting to start your own garden. You get to grow your plants whenever you have visitors via Streetpass or play coins. They stop by, water your plants while showing off the fact that they actually have a fully grown plant. Outside of that, you can head to the shopping mall and buy different things, from seeds to decorations for your garden to the actual garden. Brian died of boredom. This game is definitely a nice change of pace from the other games in the Mii Plaza, but now it's just not my cup of tea. If I really wanted creativity, I'll most likely just do it on Animal Crossing, but it's not a terrible game. Ever wanted to take over the world and live in a super tall tower that could easily topple over? Warrior's Way, everyone. This game is all about uniting all the nations together under your rule, and in order to do so, you must invade them one by one. Your army will grow both from Miis and pets who will offer their armies to help you out, as well as from defeating enemies that you challenge. Now, how exactly does one take over the world? Rock, paper, scissors. No, I'm not kidding. The mechanics of the combat is an epic round of rock, paper, scissors, where you will be able to see the enemy's choices, but you won't know what move they'll go for, and your job is to win 2 out of 3 rounds to claim victory of the land. Now, if you need help or you don't trust luck because it hasn't been on our favor this year, you can use play coins to let the game choose the best strategy for battle, as well as taking a moment to spy on which group they'll send out first. So overall, really isn't much being offered from this game. I mean, it's literally just rock, paper, scissors. But younger me did have a bit of fun with this, hoping to get all the way to conquering all the land, and then realizing that it just resets after you finish it. Monster Manor. Holy sh**. This game is a puzzle RPG all about exploring a haunted manor. Yeah, that's right, your me decides it's a lovely day to go f***ing die. So we explore this manor in hopes of finding some secrets. The main objective is to find the stairs on each floor in order to reach the very top to see what awaits us. Miis and pets will offer you floor pieces that you can use in order to find the stairs to the next floor, along with the occasional treasure chests that have blasters you use to fight with. And speaking of fighting, you may randomly encounter some enemies when going to a new part of the room. The way the battles work here is you can decide either to attack with your blaster or guard to avoid getting hurt. You do have stamina though, so you would have to be wise with how you use it, and if you run out, it will leave you vulnerable to enemy attacks. However, if you're successful in defeating the enemy, then your blaster may level up, making it stronger for the next battle. I personally found this game to be pretty enjoyable. I mean, looking for the stairs can be a pain, but it really was pretty fun looking for the hidden treasure, and especially when it came to the combat. And now, it's time for my personal favorite of all the Mii Plaza games, Mii Force. This game is a side-scrolling shooter all about being part of the space police known as the Mii Force, who are looking to take down the Golden Bone Gang. Flying through the galaxy, Miis and pets will help you man the weapons on the ship in order to attack incoming obstacles and enemies. We can also stack characters to increase the power of our attacks, but the moment you get hit by something, you lose a character on your ship. It seems like a pretty straightforward game, but what I love about this game is that it can get pretty difficult. Some levels just throw everything at you, and it may require you to do a couple attempts to complete it. And if you thought that was too easy, then you can try collecting all the diamonds, then going for a high score, and the fun doesn't stop there because there's an arcade mode where you can go through all the stages non-stop and see how far you can get without exploding the ship. This one minigame just offers so much, and let's not forget that the music here is wonderful. I love the soundtrack to this game. If for some reason you decide to buy a Mii Plaza game right now, this is the one I would immediately recommend. And that was pack 1 of the new DLC. Like I said earlier, this was probably my favorite of all the packs, just because it had a nice variety of fun, enjoyable games, from the peaceful flower planting to the thrills of space adventuring. However, Nintendo was nowhere near done when they announced another pack of DLC games, but this time it only included 2 games, starting with... Is that a fishing simulator?
See, this is what I wanted, a good fishing simulator.
Ultimate Angler is all about going to different islands and fishing to your heart's content. Mii's and Pets will give you fishing bait that you can use to fish, and if you're lucky, you might find a rare creature out of the seas. Don't worry, we'll leave you be, Nessie. You can then put your catches in a tank for display and decorate as you please. And that's it. Yeah, there's not much to this game, but it's still pretty enjoyable. I liked it quite a bit because it's a simple game. I mean, the controls are circling the screen at a reasonable speed, but similar to Flower Town, it's just a nice change of pace. Though I'm not exactly sure if this is truly me enjoying the game itself, or if it's just a sign that I'm a true sucker for fishing simulators. Battlegrounds Z, the zombie apocalypse is upon the earth, and it is our job to get to the source and restore the world to the way it was. This is an action game, all about beating the crap out of the zombies, either to reach the end of the stage or to complete an objective like protecting someone. No, wait, what are you doing?
Mission failed!
You attack either by bringing other Mii's and Pets along to help, or just by asking for their weapons to use yourself. And there's some pretty neat weapons. I mean, there's a Wii remote. But that's pretty much the basis of the game. It's not bad. I got all the way to the end with this one, but it was kind of meh for me. The plot isn't anything jaw-dropping, but at least I got to beat some zombies with a Wii remote. And that was pack 2. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I mean, the 2 games weren't bad by any means. I mean, Zombie Apocalypse and a fishing simulator make this the Switch game lineup for 2020, and you have the best year right there. However, it wasn't over yet, because there was one final pack coming out, and they would go all out, not bringing just 2, nor 4, but 5 games. Now, the real question, were these games good? Slot car rivals. Basically, you are involved in races against other slot car racers to see who finishes the race first. You literally have only one button to press, the A button, to move the car forward. And that's it. I mean, you must slow down the car when you're going around sharp turns, but that's literally all to the controls. However, there are some nice additions to this game. For starters, you can actually customize the car the way you want. And when it comes to the races, it can get pretty hard from time to time. And it's not just the courses that get harder. Oh no, the cars genuinely start putting a fight to the finish. And a final note is that some of these racetracks actually look really nice. But at the end of the day, it's still a pretty simple game. Remember Find Me, where you fight against enemies to save the royal family? Well, what if you refused to join the fight and worked in a restaurant where you feed those knights who will be in the fight, all while making below minimum wage?
Hi, I'd like to apply for this job. Yeah, of course. But we do have to ask this to everyone because the last person we hired literally did not cook anything. So, do you have any cooking experience? I think I poured tea into a cup. Works for me. You're hired.
Feed Me is where you are given ingredients from the knights that stop by, and you must use those ingredients to make a dish that'll give them the energy they need to win the war. There are many recipes you can make, and how good your dish turns out will determine how well the knights do in battle. And that's about it. It's honestly not that exciting of a game. I mean, you cook. Oh, that was the end of my sentence. Ninja Launcher. The objective is to defeat the enemy that resides on a cliff, so to reach it, you must launch yourself from a cannon. Along the way, you must pick up these items, being both clothing and weapons, and the more you pick up during the launch, the more damage you will deal to the enemy. That's pretty much it. Overall, this game isn't anything too crazy. I presume I didn't play this game that much, since I barely remembered this game even existed before now. Mii Trek is all about exploring unknown areas in search of treasure and wild animals, and the only way you can proceed through the map is by walking with Mii's and Pets. That's it. Oh great, I guess I could clear rocks out of the way. That's fun. And finally, we have Market Crashers. Invest in the stock market with the help of Mii's and Pets as they tell you predictions of how the market will go. I fell asleep again, didn't I?
Well, yeah, it was boring.
Oh sure, I guess it's a sneak peek of the real life stock market, but there's just nothing else to it. It's not that hard of a game, but come on, 99.9% of the time, I open my 3DS without wanting to think about the stock market. And that was the last of the DLC, a pretty disappointing pack compared to the other 3, despite having more games included. Slot Car Rivals is my personal favorite out of the games here, but the rest just weren't that great. Ninja Launcher can be pretty decent, but Feed Me, Mii Trek, and Market Crashers just weren't great, either because the theme was basic or the concept felt boring. I mean, look, even f***ing Wikipedia doesn't give a damn about the last 2 games.
Now I know what you're thinking, Brian, you're critiquing these games way too seriously. I mean, it's just a Mii Plaza. And you're right.
At the end of the day, these are just standard mini-games with the only goal being making your Miis actually useful. I mean, I wasn't expecting god tier titles here, but I did feel some heart in some of these games, especially when it came to the first DLC pack. So I was hoping it would continue that way to the very end, and I mean the second DLC pack was pretty good as well, but I don't know, maybe it was just wishful thinking. Or I turned into a 16-year-old who wanted to be a PokeTuber and could give less of a damn about the Mii Plaza.
So there you go, Streetpass Mii Plaza. Yeah, it's just another pre-installed application on a console, but I mean, there was some heart and effort put into this game. Not all the games were winners. I mean, there's some pretty boring ones in the batch, but it was at least enough for me to remember the good times I had with this, especially during those periods when I was waiting for the big titles like a Pokemon X or an Animal Crossing New Leaf. So at the end of it all, there's at least one thing we can all agree on. This guy.